Pocket face service, lip service that they call it, actually. I'm gonna go get some water, some water, some water. Oh yeah, am I even streaming on YouTube? Oh shit, that's right. You can't do it that way. Here? Fuck, a little bit off. I can second guess myself. Oh, I am live. Okay. See ya. Hopefully, this does not disable my live stream on YouTube. But we shall not know that. 3:33? Close enough. 3:35. I'm French, bro. I can't help it. TBS Canada. I fucking love Canada, dude. God, it's good. I'm sure, like, the America has their equivalent, like FDA, and it comes up. CDC, FDA recalls. 7-hydroxyide. Seven hydroxymitrogen. Oh, that's what this is. And even ice cream cones, candies. Yeah, dude. These are literally safer. But they still kind of gateway drug depending on how you look at the drug when you take it. Has there ever actually been a kratom overdose? Oh, we got one. Let's see what she did. she say? Obtunded. Delvis is okay. I think I knew that. I just didn't remember it because that's a very obscure word. Cyanotic. I was thinking of obtuse. Oh, that's what that's called, cyanosis. How much grams? Well, kratom juice? Whoa, they should ban that. Hold the fucking phone if that's not a lie, dude. Oh no, no, this is fine. You can smoke the leaves. I didn't know that. Okay, no, I just misinterpreted that. I'm gonna get a Twitter or a Twitch strike. I think they should ban kratom vaping products because that's a higher route of administration. Okay, how many did she do? Oh, here it is. That's not that much. Oh my god. You're with an American bank? That literally none of the money goes into Canada then.
Dinner differently at Tim's with new $8.99 dinner deals. Pick a main, a side, and a drink, like a flatbread pizza, a classic Boston cream, and a peach quencher for just $8.99. Now that's a real dinner deal. Try them today from 5 to 11 p.m. Plus tax for limited time only at participating restaurants in Canada. Exclusions apply.
What is it? I don't want to be like rude, but like I don't understand. Where the fuck is it? 7 OH. It is a kratom or a alkaloid, kratom alkaloid. It doesn't actually say kratom unless you go down to the bottom. Oh no, it says right there. when a bank doesn't offer the same service as everybody else, either they're extremely benevolent in the terms of like having fees for a minimum balance, or they're just trying to rip you off somehow, because like that doesn't happen in the business world. Where did this come from? Yeah, no shit. Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Montreal, Toronto Dominion. These are not American banks. Unless the name is just not, it's just a lie, like... Which I can actually see the Nazi Party of America doing that. But I could check that, like I'm with TD. I still have no idea. He's gonna insult me. No, he didn't. He just gave up. Don't worry about it. Trust me. Administrator. I think I fucked that up. Administrator, minister. Yikes, dude. And I think there's nothing more dangerous than a fucking drug, especially when it's legal in the auspices of just no danger. Like alcohol. Alcohol kills so many people because nobody thinks it's dangerous. It's terrible. I should do Metrogen and alkaloids. Nah, it's just Kratom. Turns out there exists liquid extracts which will overdose. I like the fun of having it fit. It's like, it makes it kind of hard to read, but like, that's the beauty of Twitter. That was the original idea, and it's just ruined. Why would they call it why would they use the name 7-hydroxy or 7-hydroxymethylgen if like the Wikipedia page that people could look up is just fucking empty, unless they do that to just put their face on it. There is no domestic product. I don't think, like, fucking so blurry, dude. ODs.
Let your music taste shine with Premium. Host a jam with your friends and share your favorite songs with the entire squad without ad breaks. You can also play your favorite albums in any order with unlimited skips and repeats. Tap the banner to learn more.
Who's Philip Morris? Wonder who I get recommended to on the algorithm. I think it'd be pretty harsh smoking Kratom. Oh, he overdosed, that's why. Yeah, what did he do? God, that sucks. Did he have to get amputated? No. Fasciotomy. No, it's just I don't really care to open that up. I can do what the fuck they want. I should read my shit more, dude. That's close enough. I wasn't actually going for the cross, but it fucking would have looked nice if I lied about that. Why is this called Bonds Are Fucked? I have good experience in selling like my own business because I sold cigarettes, and I understand that like you pay money to get it from a supplier. You may not even like the supplier, and in most cases you probably don't like the supplier, but you get it from them anyway. God damn, dude. I don't see the point of uncontrolled. Isn't buprenorphine a partial agonist too? Yeah, it's a partial agonist. Cigarettes. Hold on, let me see this. Smoking, Canada. Now we compare it to America. Oh, 17%'s not bad. Oh shit, they actually have 11.6%. Interesting. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't like intelligently be able to tell what this is, just like that. What the fuck was that? It was like a ringing. Did you guys hear that? Was it this? Weird. Where the fuck did that come from? It was in my fucking left ear. But it wasn't like the brain ringing thing. It was like. I'm just gonna take this part out then. This is the word though, insufflated. Dear fentanyl. I mean, I could get flavored tobacco, or at least those balls that you could pop in the cigarette, but like, I don't really care. I don't want to smoke. It's not really gone though, I know how to get it. But most people don't. Candies. Oh, they're looking at the 7-hydroxy extract, which is the dangerous extract, which should just be straight up restricted. Because that's, like, it's just gonna get people high and die. High and die. I'll always be your high and die! Fuck doing drugs, dude. Shit. I did not mean for that to cache. I thought I fixed that. There it is. What else we got for topics to discuss that the news wants people to see? Let's check out Mark Shkreli, dude. That guy's a good guy. Do you know the definition of insanity? It depends what type of insane. Orange Crowley. Did he delete it?
I would say this is the most interesting thing. Good food.
Well, okay, I should listen to that.
About prison or surprising thing is how friendly everybody is.
Yeah. Well, not to me, but they weren't friendly to me. But that was also jail, which is a bunch of fucking pussies who want to just talk shit and do nothing. And even that, people were actually quite friendly. Just when they were in, like, groups, they just tried to, like, come at me, but, like, do it then. Fuck you mean, bro? Also, Far Cry, fuck if I know, was never a game I played past 2, and I got bored of it. It's 90% driving in Africa. Don't care if it's not drugs, I don't give a fuck. What? They're giving SSRIs to babies? What? Ideally, a girl or a pregnant woman is not on any drugs when she's pregnant. Like, just look at thalidomide. They didn't fucking know what it was doing. And obviously not all of them are as egregious. Heading to a bar, which I order gin and tonic. I feel like a fucking slave for doing that because I totally acquiesced to fucking saying something in response to your fucking dumbass tweet, dude. Fucking see ya, kids. Fuck the fun of kids, right? It's just like, it's just crazy to me. Hip hop skip hop dip Doppler effect as we connect with the resonance of a frequency derivatively from the velocity. Shit, it didn't line up. Ah, there it is. If an ambulance goes by, it's traveling towards you. Therefore, the waves will be closer together as they send off the siren. But behind you, they will be further away due to the... like that. They will also be slower. Like this. So we describe the Doppler effect that I derived from my correct project that I never had. I am bad at freestyling your twerking. Oh no, tweaking. I misread that because I'm peaking. Duck. Exotic, eccentric, Denisovan. Denisovan, fucking such a stupid thing to say. Harm reduction system is like regulation, whereas abstinence is like legality. That's kind of dumb. I don't like that because I'm actually abstinence-based. Yo, your car was comfy as fuck, bro. I should say that. That is Far Cry 3. Okay. We're apparently still live streaming on YouTube. Oh shit, I keep doing that. Should be right here. Center of the cross. Damn it! That's delayed because mine just hit for 37 seconds, 37 minutes. I didn't even see that. Damn it! That was loud. Oh! That's delayed because mine just hit for 37 seconds. Right, the number's not the same. 37 minutes. Girls want to read my favorite play, or perhaps your favorite play, as long as it's Shakespeare. No, like romantically.
Lean into the sounds you love. Take your playlists anywhere with offline downloads, or play your song of the moment again and again with unlimited repeats. Get all the music without hearing audio ads on Spotify Premium. Tap the banner to learn more.
I'm an idiot. I made myself laugh with my own dumb spelling of it. The Soul Stone. Soul Stone.
Why is Red Skull the Soul Stone Guardian? In Infinity War, we discovered that the Soul Stone was on the planet Vormir, and that took the Tesseract. But what happened with Red Skull is that he was exiled to space, and finally...
It just seems like a cameo. Like, it just seems necessary. Soul Stone. Craft 3.
If our tank was good and knew how not to be dazed, bro. Sad Hunter went off. No.
Oh, here it is, Brock.
No, guys. No.
Fucking boom. At least the Spirit of Redemption. They could totally. Oh, wow.
Because sure, in some sort of epistemological sense, maybe mental states should be understood as differently from bodily state, but from the material standpoint, from what these things are made of, the mind is just what the brain does. The mind is the product of physical stuff, and as a result, it's all the same physical rules as everything else in the world. However, we don't intuitively think that. Intuitively, we think that the mind can exist without the physical substrate of the brain that produces it. And that's why it doesn't seem too far-fetched for us to think about things like switching minds, right? Like you can keep the same physical brain, but somehow you can switch the minds. You see this trope used in movies, when the 13-year-old and the 30-year-old, they switch the minds. People transfer their consciousnesses over, and most importantly, and perhaps most naturally, we think that the mental states can persist after the brain dies and decays away. So we think that personality, consciousness, can persist after physical life. And you can see how that forms the basis for the ideas of souls and afterlives, of the persistence of the mind after the body dies. Now, I think this idea of it being intuitively difficult to understand the physical nature of our mental states was put better than I've ever seen it before in a short story by Jean-Paul Sartre called The Wall, which is about these two prisoners. I think it's in the Spanish Civil War, and they're going to be put up against a wall and executed by firing squad. And the short story is a meditation on death, as the two characters, Pablo is the first person character, and he's talking to his fellow prisoner as their execution is approaching. And the other prisoner says to Pablo, he says, "I tell myself there will be nothing afterwards, but I don't understand what it means. Sometimes I almost can, and then it fades away and I start thinking about the pains again, bullets and explosions. I'm a materialist," by which he means not like I like consumer goods, but I believe in the material world, not the supernatural. I'm a materialist. I swear it to you. I'm not going crazy, but something's the matter. I see my corpse. That's not hard, but I'm the one who sees it with my eyes. I've got to think that I won't see anything anymore, and that the world will go on for others. We aren't made to think like that, Pablo. To which Pablo says, "Shut up," I said. "Do you want me to call a priest?" Now, you can empathize with the perspective of the other prisoner there. It's hard for us to imagine non-existence. And the reason for that is because when you imagine your future, when you imagine any future, you're doing so by extrapolating from the mental states you've had so far. You're sort of running a simulation, an assumed simulation on what your brain has been so far into what your brain is going to be in the future. But because all we've known is existence, it's very, very hard for us to imagine non-existence. Because like the prisoner said, it's us doing the imagining. It's hard to imagine a future without us, but there will be one. So this is a good example of how this was not an adaptation. We didn't evolve to misunderstand this, but it's a consequence, a byproduct of the limitations of the human mind. And in this sense, that idea of a mind that can exist without a body is an evolutionary byproduct, but one that is fundamental to understanding certain central tenets of religion. All right, hyperactive agency detection device. So this is a woman from Florida who was eating a grilled cheese sandwich. She took one bite, as you can see, but then she stopped because in the sandwich she saw the visage of the Virgin Mary. I think it's the Virgin Mary, it might be Jesus. It's some religious figure. And as a result, she stopped. She preserved the sandwich. It's said that it gave her all sorts of luck, and eventually she sold it on eBay for something like $200,000. These things happen every so often. People will see the pattern of something religiously significant in an...
This is basically Pascal Boyer's mechanism, is you have like an inherent mechanism in your brain which just allows for belief. It's like a... Hi.
Do you feel like you're missing out on like when he's talking about the readings, not actually reading them? He mentions like he references the readings a lot.
He read the Wall by Scott.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't.
No, he did.
Oh,
and he said, yeah.
This book.
This is one of the best books.
Is this the book he's referencing?
No, this is the book I'm referencing. It basically says that.
The Evolution and Origins of Religious Thought.
Yeah.
I really liked this segment in his series about religion.
He goes over it?
Yeah, he goes over it, and he also mentions a podcast that he does, and I listened to the podcast, and it was pretty good.
It doesn't say the mechanism on the back, but it just says like it's like a psychological thing.
Yeah,
It's a
cognitive psychology.
Very neat book.
there's a page in it that sums it up, which kind of it goes through like categories and like religious beliefs usually have like a normal template and then one exception to the rule. And it's more than you want it.
Yeah. Tell me which people.
I can't find it right now.
That's fine.
No way.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else you up to?
I was chilling on the computer.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to edit. Are you doing Kickstarter?
No.
Okay. Because I'm not doing Kickstarter currently. I'm going to dinner. Really? So wait, so after the game, does this let you stop signing up for things? And then I never get called back to?
Well, then you also might not get instructions that you were there. You should sign up, but if there's like a legit reason why you're like, I don't really want to go, I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. I would go, but I don't want to be there.
Are you sure?
I'm sharing.
Oh, you're chairing.
Very good. I'm sharing.
No, because I asked him, he said he was with any times, or are you sharing? And he said, no, it's sharing. I said sharing.
Oh.
Sweet. Enjoy.
Yeah.
See you back.
Shit. Okay, well,
Otherwise
I don't really
random
care
object. Here's another example. This is a particular burn mark made by lightning in a tree, again looking like the Virgin Mary in this case, prompting pilgrimages to that. Now, this tendency for us to see patterns, especially patterns of agents in randomly occurring things, is called pareidolia. And it's the reason why we see things like faces in the clouds or faces in trees. This is maybe my favorite example, a dog experiencing pareidolia, one assumes. And the reason this is a phenomenon is because our brains are tuned, adaptively tuned, to over-detect.
I didn't expect her to come in, bro. Fuck.
Agency in the world, to make errors on this side rather than the other side. Now, to explain that, we go back to our error management chart, the one that I keep bringing up, right? In this case, we're replacing a car being stolen and a car not being stolen with something perhaps more consequential. So you're walking in the forest.
This is kind of what Pascal Boyer's saying in this book, but not really.
And you hear a snap behind you, or you hear the rustling of leaves. There are only two possibilities in this case. One is that it could be a predator, and the other is that it is not a predator. And your reaction, again, you can only have two reactions in this case. Like the car alarm going off or not going off, you either engage a fear response, cortisol floods your body, your heart starts pounding, blood flows to your legs, and you get the hell out of there. Or you ignore it and you carry on. Now, in two of these situations, like always, the right thing has happened. You engaged a fear response when there is an actual predator and hopefully you escaped it, or you ignored it and there was no actual predator and you didn't waste any extra energy. But in two cases, there are errors. In one case, you've unnecessarily engaged the fear response, and in the other case, you have improperly ignored the actual threat of a predator. Now, it's pretty clear in this case what's the more costly of these two errors. In the one case, you just expend some extra energy, take some extra cortisol, freak out a little bit, but in the other, you get eaten. Now, because we're going to make mistakes in the situation, because we don't have a perfect signal detection device to always know when it's a predator and always know when it's not a predator, our brain is tuned itself to make the less costly error. Those who were tuned the other way got eaten and did not become our ancestors. So the result is that we readily saw and now still see agents where there are none. Our brain is tuned to make that error more often. Now, you can see how that gave rise to imagining supernatural agents where there actually weren't any. You pair that with the next concept, a promiscuous teleology. What does that mean? A lot of words. Well, just two, but they're big ones. Teleology we talked about before. Teleology is the idea of assuming that there are goal states behind something. We have a brain that is similarly tuned to overperceive goal states, to overperceive the idea that something is meant to cause something else. And the reason for that is because of the social learning mechanisms that we talked about last week. As creatures who are inclined to understand tools, are inclined to learn from others, we are tuned to pay specific attention to something causing something else. So this is why these children over-imitate. They think that every aspect that's happened was responsible for the thing that actually did happen. So that way you kind of imitate everything, and hopefully you achieve the same outcome as the person you're trying to imitate. The consequence of this over-perception of teleology is that we see that same causal pattern. We assume there being a purpose behind events that actually don't have a goal state behind them, like natural events. And so in a world where we're surrounded by natural events occurring, tides coming in, tides going out, suns rising, suns going down, winds blowing, we attribute purpose, goals, and mental states behind those. Paired with this idea of hyperactive agency detection, it became very natural and again, almost inevitable for us to imagine these purposeful plotting agents behind things that were just natural events occurring. And so the original gods, the original spirits, the original supernatural agents that we saw in the world were these minds behind these types of natural events. They were sun gods and wind gods and ocean gods. And those, again, were the psychological raw materials from which the modern religions today have emerged.
That is potentially true. I think you could take it a step back and be like cave paintings as a way of like praying, but not literally praying. You manifest a painting, you just worship them. Actually, no, it's the same thing as telling a
Now, there's one more of these that I want to talk about. The first three are all cognitive adaptations. They refer to why the way we think leads us to make these types of beliefs. The last one is actually a motivational state, whereas the other ones made certain supernatural ideas thinkable, easy to come to mind. This one is actually the product of our mind motivated to see the world in a certain way, reaching
nothing has changed.
This idea was perhaps most famously articulated by Freud, who was no fan of religion, and he saw it as wish fulfillment. We have religious beliefs because we want to believe those things. A later disciple of Freud, Ernest Becker, neo-Freudian, who was writing in the 70s, actually at Simon Fraser University, he wrote this book, The Denial of Death, and in it, hugely depressing book, by the way. He was dying of cancer as he wrote it, and then published it 6 months after he died and won the Pulitzer Prize. And in it, he makes
is that how you say that?
argument
Pulitzer?
that
Pulitzer?
all of human culture, everything we've created, are attempts to wrestle with the reality of our mortality. They're attempts to actually deny that mortality, either literally by positing things like afterlives, or symbolically by trying to create a culture which will live on after us, achieving some sort of symbolic immortality, which makes death somewhat more palatable. Now, there is a body of research in social psychology which shows that when you do activate people's thinking about death, they seem to have all these psychological reactions, including defensive reactions, showing greater support for their own culture, for instance. The findings are consistent with Becker's idea that such cultural reaffirmations are tools we use to compensate for the fear we have of our own mortality. However, I'm not so sure that this body of research will survive the replication crisis. Some of it's pretty sketchy, so we'll see what happens with that. Nevertheless, the idea is very interesting, but I think it's incomplete. Humans fear more than just death. And this is something that we could expand to call chaos management. It's an idea that's been put forward by, among others, my undergrad mentor, Jordan Peterson, as well as my current colleague, Steve Heine. And their argument, they both made this independently, is that, well, the world is chaotic and unpredictable and unfair. Those are all terrifying aspects of the world that we've just been placed in and asked to live with. And so the mind is drawn towards, is motivated to impose some sort of order on that unpredictable, unfair chaos. It looks for ways to palliate that discomfort with the world as it is.
Palliate?
And religion is suggested to be one of those ways. And so some interesting evidence for this is stuff done by, among others, another one of my colleagues, Kristen Lauren, in what they call the compensatory control model, that we require faith in the controllability of the world. And if you take away faith from one area, we find the need to compensate with imposed control from another area. And so they did a bunch of studies where you reduce, say, a personal feeling of control and people compensate by believing more in a controlling God. Or you reduce people's confidence in the secular institutions, the government, and now people, terrified of living in a world which is uncontrolled, again compensate with more belief in a controlling God. All right, so as mentioned, these types of psychological phenomena form the evolutionary bedrock from which our spiritual thinking initially grew, but on their own can't give us a full explanation for why religions look the way they do today. For that, we need to integrate the last concept of evolutionary psychology that we're going to be learning about in the course. And that's what we're going to pick up on in the next lecture.
What the fuck is that music? Alright.
Become nearly universal within a group. And the reason for that is because things like the conformity bias and social norms are going to create a positive feedback loop, such that when it starts being a majority who has them, it starts being increasingly uncomfortable for the minority who doesn't hold it. There's going to be increasing pressure for them to hold the beliefs of the majority of the group, and there's going to be increased deterrence not to be different from the rest of the group. And so you can see how the religious ideas that pop up from the, as we talked about, the genetic evolutionary bedrock of the mind as byproducts of our default cognition are going to lead to certain religious ideas which are then going to pervade the group. And so we see how the products of the mind become pervasive cultural ideas. However, there's a mystery, which is that the religious ideas that you see in small-scale societies, both historical ones and the ones that exist today, systematically differ from the religious ideas that you see in the big world religions that dominate most of the world now: Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, etc. Why is that? If religious ideas are the natural and inevitable consequence of the human mind, a human mind that, of course, has stayed genetically, evolutionarily the same for the last 100,000, 200,000 years, then why have the ideas changed? To explain that, we need to look at what happens between groups. So this is where we get finally to the idea of cultural group selection. So just as some ideas can win out over others, can be selected over others, that's cultural evolution, whole groups can as well. And when they do so, they bring their ideas with them. Those ideas thrive along with the group, and the ideas that are attached to the losing groups, they take their culture with them to be put on the trash heap of cultural history, to extinction. So how are some groups selected for over others? Here are 5 mechanisms for cultural group selection. So the first is probably the most obvious one: direct intergroup competition. In war, in direct conflict, one group triumphs over another group and vanquishes it. The winning group takes over. Their ideas win. So one example of
that's
that
an
is,
interesting take. A hidden hand versus an invisible hand. Because the mere conception of a god that's personal puts you in detection range of it. As opposed to the invisible hand where it's just completely random. How do atheists live, dude? Because that's a counter argument. Because atheists are just invisible hands. Oh, it just happens. Okay.
so anything that makes your military or war effort stronger is something which could be culturally selected for. Those groups that stumbled upon ideas that maybe made their soldiers more bonded together, more devoted to the group, or more otherwise physically formidable, would have been the groups that outcompeted the other ones, and as a result, those ideas that contributed to their success would start to take over the world. One example of this is seen in the types of military drills that soldiers have been doing for ages, which is, for instance, marching in lockstep with each other. This type of synchronous behavior, when you move or sing in a consistent lockstep pattern with other members of your group, seems to be particularly effective at bonding you with the group, allowing you to pursue pro-social ends together, and when it comes to it, potentially die